Okay, good morning. My name is Leslie Williams and I am in San Diego, California. And I'm making this video today on June 28, 2013. And what I'm going to do is basically just talk to you while I'm dividing up some bread in order to feed my birds and my squirrels. Which I only do, well, I feed them kind of every day, but I don't, I got to make sure that I watch all my money so, I don't go overboard with it. Anyways, the reason why I'm making this video is that I am in San Diego, California, and I'm a target victim and activist concerning a specific type of crime that is usually not generally known to the public, okay? Even though the public can be used in organized stalking and gang stalking expeditions without them even being known that what they're doing is gang stalking. Now, the reason why I'm making this particular video is that what I'm trying to do is get the word out about the kind of crime that is happening to me, who I have discovered is involved in it, and protecting it. Now, I have made a lot of videos, and a lot of my videos repeat the same thing, and the reason why I do that in part is because I want to be able to make sure that some people that might be visiting my videos for the first time have an understanding of what's happening to me. If I only made 2 or 3 videos and said I'm a target of organized stalking and then just started talking about methods and tactics of organized stalking, in other words, I got to give a general statement concerning what's happening to me. I try to in every single one of my videos, so enough information can be known by first-time viewers. That way they can take the information and basically investigate it. Now, as a result of being a target of these crimes, victims of these crimes cannot get no help whatsoever. You would not believe what I know. You just would not believe what I know. I'm here today to tell you, fellow American citizens, well, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you to make some statements that so you can, so I can get them out of the way so you can have an understanding that this crime is not happening to me because of me. I'm not involved in any illegal activity whatsoever. I am not involved in any criminal activity whatsoever. I am not crazy in any way, shape, or form, and I am not a threat to myself or others. These are the labels, though, that the organized crime syndicated members, this is organized crime in the system, these are the kinds of labels, though, that they literally put on targets in order to discredit a target concerning the truth that the target is telling. Now, let me give you an example in a sense how organized stalking and gang stalking harassment is utilized around a target every single day. Because for them, the whole goal for them, in reference to just the harassment, is to make a target not only notice the harassment purposely, but it's also done in order to be able to provoke normal psychological and psychological being mental and emotional responses to the harassment. Now, the harassment that a target experiences is not the only thing that happens to a target. It's just done in combination with the other things that happen to a target in order to heighten the victimization. And as a result of being a victim of these kind of crimes, what they basically do is the perpetrators of them have developed a set of methods and tactics and protocols that are implemented usually through a tiered structure, which means they do specific things first, second, third, fourth, and then once the open harassment starts, it's basically the same every day. But they got to be able to know how to terrorize a target in each unique target's own, because every person has their own unique personality. We all have our general psychology. We all have general things in common, but each person is different in reference to their likes, their dislikes, their personality types, how easily they can possibly be provoked, what their social beliefs are, what their spiritual beliefs are, what their personalities like when it comes to any type of social relationship. Even their age development is taken into consideration because psychiatrists are 100% have been used in these campaigns, are being used in these campaigns for multiple different things. Okay, to discredit the target, to bilk the target's insurance, and to attempt to take psychological profiles of a target so that information can be funneled down to the managers of these expeditions in reference to the see, because there's managers in these expeditions that are responsible for specific things that happen to a target. Okay, like one manager is responsible for the scripting and harassment of a target. Another manager is responsible for all the technological things that happen to a target, like electronic harassment, or their computer being shut down, or their video cameras being shut down, or their digital tape recorders being shut down. These are all managed through what is known as the Bureau of Technology section of the syndicate. Now, it's a syndicate that's basically compartmentalized, and you can go to Google and type in a gang stalking tech, everything you need to know. It's a manifesto of a manager of organized stalking, gang stalking crews. And he literally, and make no mistake about it, this manifesto is not the entire scope of these expeditions, and it's nowhere near as detailed in reference to even what he describes. I think it's a he. It could be a she, though, because this person talks about mammograms. Well, what this person is describing is by no means whatsoever to be understood to, like the Bureau of Technology. It talks about how all the communications of a target are monitored, but it doesn't talk about the sophisticated technology. It doesn't talk about how targets can be even monitored neurally with remote neural monitoring. Okay, but neural activity is a form of communications. And if you go into YouTube and type in John Hall satellite terrorism, you can clearly deduce that remote neural monitoring is pretty much always utilized against a targeted individual, whether they're aware of it or not. Okay, so this manifesto is by no means to be a complete picture of how the perpetrators operate or what they're capable of, but it does give you a very, very, very good template of reference. Okay, not only to expose the fact that this syndicate exists and is up and running in every state in the United States, but also the fact that syndicated schools are also mentioned in it. Doctors are mentioned in it. They're called the money bags. Okay, and they're used to discredit targets. Judges are mentioned in it. Yeah, police officers, even entire police departments are mentioned in it, as well as the fire department. You know, so when we look at who's got the power position in the community, just by looking at that one aspect of the manifesto, it flat out talks about how they can get the police department or the fire department to engage in harassment of a target. Okay, well, who's got the power? I was thinking about that the other day. Who's got the power position to get police officers and fire department personnel to engage in at least siren harassment? And that can be Googled and cross-referenced to either organized stalking or gang stalking. Okay, so who's got the power positions to influence entire police departments? Okay, well, it does say entire police departments have been taken over, but I'm talking about who's got the power position to influence a squadron in the fire department. Who's their boss? Who's got the power position to do that? Even doing it as a favor, you know, in reference to the cooperation being solicited, so it can be considered as it being done as a favor. Who's got the power positions to do that? Somebody in the system, we better be darn sure. Okay? Now, as a result of being a target of this crime, targets are literally forbidden to be able to make police reports concerning the fact that they're targets of this crime, and no government official will help any target. I only know of one government official that has helped any target, and that was James Walber. Representative Jim Guest helped him, and he's still a victim of this crime. Okay? Now, these individuals that are in the system at the federal, state, and local level make sure that every single gang stalking target is eventually set up to be jailed, institutionalized, hospitalized, discredited on paper through social services, county mental health, doctors and area hospitals like psychiatric floors, police reports, fire department EMS reports, because these doctors are mentioned extensively throughout the entire manifesto. Okay, so when you look at how these individuals are syndicated in white and blue collar employment descriptions, and how a target is tracked and surveilled in real time, basically what they're doing is basically doing nothing but, as a result of the tracking and surveillance of a target, they can ascertain where a target's at any given time. So if a target's going to the hospital to get a checkup, or if they've been in an auto accident, okay, the people that come and get that target to take that target to the hospital, like the EMS, they're notified in reference to, like, the target's cell phone is hacked and monitored. A target is tracked and surveilled in real time. So all the communications, including their cell phone communications, are monitored. So they're totally aware when 911 is called. They're totally aware when 911 is called. And if you closely look at that manifesto, it flat out states that when the syndicate is involved in a crime and someone calls 911, they purposely make sure that a syndicated police officer intercepts that call. Yeah. And if it gets real out of hand and they can't stop the arrest of the syndicated member who's committing the crime, they'll pipeline the case before a syndicated judge. You got to meticulously look at the manifesto. So, how can targeted individuals ever get any help whatsoever as a result of being a target of these crimes? Because they not only got to protect the crimes, they've also got to protect the businesses, the libraries, and the universities, and the public transportation services that have been used to aid and abet in them concerning the harassment. The property owners, the postal employees that they use, the cable installers, the telephone personnel that are involved in these crimes, the telephone companies. They got to all be protected. Yes. So that in part is part of the reasons why organized stalking and gang stalking targets are made. It literally states it in the manifesto that every single communication of a target is monitored. Every single communication of a target is monitored. And they do that for threat assessment purposes, so they can deliberate if anything is bad happening to a target. It looks like somebody just broke down on somebody from the apartment building over there is acting out. This is done for a threat assessment purpose to make sure that that anything that a target is doing cannot be a threat to them, or it's done for a benefit analysis, so they can see if anything a target's doing can be a benefit to them. And this is literally how they operate. Now, if you can imagine being taken out of your home and then multiple crimes happening to you, okay? Hang on a second. It's a squirrel. If you can imagine crimes and harassment happening to you on a daily basis, okay, and then not being able to get no help. I mean, all you gotta do is think about this. If you're a victim of a crime, you should be able to get help. But if you can't get help from the government or the police, and these individuals also got the same power positions to influence lawyers or law firms, where are you left to run to? You can't even run to a homeless shelter after they make you homeless, because they track and surveil you there. I got a printout right now in my backpack, literally a printout in my backpack that literally shows that a fellow targeted individual was gang stalked in the same exact homeless shelter they tried to steer me to, and did steer me to, in Connecticut. Yeah, because they were targeting her, they took her home, and then they continued to target her to get legal custody of the mentally challenged, disabled son she had. Because they also are involved in illegally kidnapping either the children of a target or a mentally disabled or physically disabled family member of a target. And that's done in order to be able to place them in syndicated run environments they control, so federal funds and state insurances can be applied for in that person's name once they got syndicated probate control of them. It's organized crime in the system. Her name was, I think, Renee Pittman. Okay, she was a Connecticut target. What they did to her, they had her gang stalked in Norwalk, Stamford, and at the Norwalk homeless shelter. You can go to Google right now and Google that. The Norwalk homeless shelter was the same exact homeless shelter that was connected to the St. Luke's homeless shelter, directly connected to it. In other words, they were just two separate houses that had two separate names run by the same group. The Norwalk shelter and the St. Luke's homeless shelter. Same exact entity in reference to who owned them, just two different names because they were two different houses. They had her gang stalked at the Norwalk, and they had me gang stalked at the St. Luke's, and both of them were in, she was first gang stalked in Stamford, I was gang stalked in Stamford, and they sent her to Norwalk, which is either in New Haven or Haven or whatever, you wouldn't believe how it's gang stalked in Connecticut. It's a nationwide syndicate that's operating on the same methods and tactics of protocols and behaviors, and you would not believe what I know. So anyways, and so can you imagine being a victim of a crime? Being a victim of a crime, and then having all of your civil rights violated on a daily basis, the police not only allowing it to happen to you, but protecting the fact that it's happening to you so it can continue, okay? Concerning how the fact that they can even get lawyers on board in these campaigns in order to spend you to death in court, and then the eventual decision concerning any evidence you got is thrown out. Basically, what I'm trying to tell you, it's literally worse than the Wild Wild West, where there's no law at all being observed whatsoever, and where multiple heinous crimes happen against a human being, carte blanche, flat out, wide open, done, covertly managed, and covertly protected, while they call the victims of this crime crazy, and will even petition them into county mental health to put them on psychotropic drugs, release them right back into the hands of the gang stalking. And check this out. You can go to Google and type in gang stalking or organized stalking, and how they'll perpetrate organized stalking and gang stalking against the target on a psychiatric floor, on a hospital floor, in a jail, in a prison, in an institution. Because gang stalking is not a stalking by gangs. It's nothing but a template of protocols and methods that are utilized against the target using anybody. So they can have a person falsely arrested, put in a detention center or a prison, and then solicit fellow clients and inmates to engage in gang stalking methods to a target, to make sure that a target is harassed in the same way that they were harassed when they were free. Because what these individuals count on is normal human psychological responses. Getting a person, provoking a person to react to the same exact harassment. Yes. They count on accumulated stress and post-traumatic stress they deliberately and intentionally create and reinforce. Go to YouTube and type in Fans Filtration YouTube account, okay? And listen to their videos on gang stalking, sensitization, and you will come to understand that they basically depend on normal psychological human responses to being harassed. Like, say if you were in a store or a bank or a restaurant and somebody walks in and starts harassing you, okay? How do you think you'd react? You'd probably want to maybe just get your food and leave to avoid a bad situation, and then you go to the next place and the same thing happens to you in the next place. You then leave there and go into a next place, the same exact thing happens to you in the next place throughout the whole time duration while you're in each place. Then you get on a bus and you leave that third place where it happened at, and it happens to you on the bus. All of this is managed and crafted as a result of the tracking of a target, because they want to get a target provoked to act out to the harassment, so they can call the target crazy, a threat to themselves or others, or delusional. So they can put them away, eventually get probate control of them to either co-opt their existing finances or apply for finances in their name, co-opt their existing medical insurance for Medicare fraud, or apply for insurance in their name, and for sexual exploitation. In a syndicated run environment they place the target in as a result of them petitioning the state to take legal custody of them by claiming the target's crazy or a threat to themselves or others, yes, or a social deviant of some kind. All of this covertly managed and achieved through harassment that is achieved through stalking, which is achieved through tracking of a target. A target, a totally 100% innocent human being, is having their lives totally destroyed. Multiple different types of vicious crimes happen to a target every single day, including rape, assaults. Go to YouTube and type in Learning to Save a Woman Brutally Assaulted on an MTS Bus. I'm in San Diego, California. I make these videos to inform, to expose the truth. I'm not involved in any illegal or criminal activity whatsoever. Yes, I'm not crazy in any way, shape, or form, and I'm not a threat to myself or others. I am literally being subjected to organized stalking, gang stalking, direct conversation methods, and physical gestures, which are another section of sensitization methods, along all of my routes. And I had the audio files to prove it, over almost 700. Yes. You can also go to YouTube and type in Learning to Save a Woman Catches Gang Stalker Admitting Consent to Harass. And you can also go to YouTube and type in 2/20/ 13, learning disabled woman catches another gang stalker admitting sexual harass. Make sure you look in the description of each one of these YouTube videos in order to be able to see cooperating material that can be synthesized to each host video in reference to their published dates and their statements. Cross-reference everything and you will see this crime's happening to me, and that's not including over almost 700 audio files of direct in-my-face proof that I'm a target of this crime, and it's all happening to me in San Diego. So why won't the San Diego police make a police report, and why won't the district attorney investigate the fact that MTS sent me an altered video of me being assaulted? I gotta go. I'm in San Diego, California. The only thing I ask and pray for fellow American citizens and fellow Californians is to say a prayer for me. Okay, thank you. Gotta go.